Elkhorn South head coach, Guy Rosenberg. Coach, first of all, another great season. You guys were right there. In fact, you were the only team that beat Gretna last season. I mean, talk about the year you guys had and how close you were again to maybe getting to where you wanted to be.
Right. Well, just real proud of the consistent effort of our team throughout the year. And again, they do a great job of transferring practice over to Friday night. And we got beat pretty decisively by Millard South early in the season. I mean, that's probably the most decisive loss we've had during the time we've all been together at South. And so I was just really proud of how the team banded together and dedicated themselves to doing everything the right way after that. And again, we beat Gretna during the regular season with the money on the table. They did a great job of making more plays than we did and advanced. But again, just really proud of the consistent performance of our team.
When you've got a number of guys you brought here today, you look at the nucleus of your team, and I'm just going to go through the sheets we have here. Let's first talk about Ashton Murphy and kind of what he brings, a big 6'5", almost 230-pound athlete for you.
Right. Well, he's a guy that by the end of the year last year, we systematically rotate our players, and even though he wasn't starting, I think he was playing as much or more than any of our other guys on both lines, on offensive and defensive line. And just big, fluid athlete. Was really invested in the weight room, and one of our coaches, head JV coach Brian Vance, we've got a Twitter account now at Elkhorn South FB, and on there got some footage of our guys lifting on there, and he just looks great in the weight room. He's a big guy, but extremely flexible. Whenever the college coaches come to weights to check out our guys, see a lot of cell phones going out where they want to take video of him, all the depth that he gets on his squats and how impressive he is on the Olympic lifts, and all that transfers over to the field. So I'm really excited about not only his performance last year, but his potential for this year.
Then you've got one guy, obviously, with major Division I offers already, Maverick Noonan. He's a guy that has started since a sophomore year for you. I mean, where have you really seen Maverick grow, develop the last couple of years?
Well, he just really understands the accumulation of reps. He's one of those guys that in practice, you can put on any of the practice film, it's all going to look the same because he's always going full speed all the time. And I think it's the ultimate compliment for him, too, on game nights, that, hey, clip 1 is going to look the same as clip 160. I mean, he's not, some guys it seems like are highlight film players. They can put together a great highlight, but if you go through and watch their game, that you see a lot of dips in performance. He's not one of those guys. That's what the colleges really love about him, is not only his athleticism and relentlessness and explosiveness, but the fact that every clip of film looks the same. He goes out all the time, and that's all you can ask of anybody. So he's a guy, can play in space. He's great at the point of attack. He's a great pass rusher, great in pursuit all the way across the field, and also pretty darn good offensive tackle, too. So a guy that always does what's best for the team.
How rare is it to have what he has in terms of athletic ability, but to have that competitive edge that you could just tell that he brings every day?
Oh, I think that's just that's contagious throughout the whole team. I mean, when they see a guy that's such an outstanding player like that, and he brings it every single practice, every single day, and then they see the same thing on game night, I mean, that's the type of guy that players are going to follow because they know he's not just talking it, he's doing it.
And then you got Noah Bustard here as well, another one of your standout players.
Right. Well, Noah, I think for him, probably one of our strongest guys in the weight room, and that's just because of the consistent investment he's made. Extremely explosive. He's another two-way guy for us that can really pull and move and bend and direct, and explosive hitter. And I think a big compliment to him that our 2020 team, where we had a real talented offensive line, where we had a real talented one every year with our O-line coach, George Drennan Sr., but 2020 team with Teddy Prohaska and Cooper Taylor and Carter Richardson and Isaac Zadiska and all those guys on there, Noah earned a spot in the rotation as a sophomore. So that pretty much tells you all you need to know about his competitiveness and his how fundamentally sound that he is.
Then Henry Prohaska, how much did he really get to do for you as a sophomore? And obviously we know the last name. And what kind of potential does Henry have in your program?
Well, he's got an extremely bright future. That for us, that Rhino package, which we've had a lot of success with, that he was one of our Rhino tight ends and is an athletic guy who can move people out of the way, but also has great ball skills. Played a lot of that move tight end, the rifle back for us, and also just a great pass rusher on defense. So he's a real athletic, flexible guy with long levers, also very invested in the weight room and a multi-sport athlete. We've got a ton of multi-sport athletes, and I'm really proud of that, of all our programs working together and giving kids a chance to really develop. But I think that he's a guy that is going to have a great season for us this fall.
Then you got Corbin Ford, defensive back, wide receiver for you guys.
Yeah, and Corbin was a guy who was in the rotation for us last year at both corner and at receiver, and track guy. Great speed there, 100 meters, 200 meters. And I really feel that he's a guy that's poised for a huge breakout year, that he really fits the profile of guys that we've had that have gone along. They've been good, solid players when they were sophomores and juniors, and all of a sudden that people turn on the tape when they're seniors and say, hey, who's that guy? So explosive speed. I think he's going to be a dynamic player for us in all three phases this year.
Then you've got Carson Rauner, who will be your quarterback for you, it looks like.
Yeah, he had a great season for us last year and did a great job at the JV level. You know, JV MVP and JV offensive MVP, and voted as a rising star by his teammates. And again, throws a great football. He's also a multi-sport guy, baseball player, real high football IQ, and just really understands not only our offense but understands defensive structure and how the two work together. Very good athlete, fluid. Throws the ball very well and can throw the complete route tree, so I'm real excited about his potential.
And then another receiver, defensive back, Jackson Muller-Swan.
Yeah, Jackson I think might be the most physical corner that we've ever had during the time I've been at Elkhorn South. I think when you put on his film, he's definitely got a couple woo hits on there where you can just hear the breath coming out of the stadium when he gets a guy lined up in his sights. And people are looking for corners with length. He's a guy who's also a basketball player, can really fluid, can run, can jump, high point receiver. And again, I think that the thing that really makes him special is just that physicality. I mean, when it comes down to it, football is a physical game, and he's definitely willing to impose his will on people.
Then you've got Joshua Mcwilliams, another guy, a receiver, safety, big body, 6 foot, 182.
Right, that he's a guy that did a great job for us last year, and I think he's going to play even a bigger role this year. Our defensive backs coach, Logan Pabin, I know feels like you could put on his tape and make a highlight tape just in terms of footwork, breaks on the ball. He's a soccer player, excellent soccer player, multi-sport athlete. Made some big catches for us as a receiver last year, and also a real well-rounded athlete, also an outstanding kicker, both for kickoffs and for placements. So just real outstanding all-around athlete, again, like I said, with size and speed and athleticism.
And finally, Cole Ballard. I mean, it feels like you've always had just a really good, versatile running back at Elkhorn South. Cooper Jewett and now Cole Ballard. I mean, what has he brought?
Yeah, he definitely carries on the tradition of our great running backs, and I think also, too, just a family tradition that there's been a Ballard, either Cole or one of his brothers has been on the team every year since I've been at South, and that's obviously been a great thing for us. But with Cole, I mean, he's a flat-out football player, outstanding safety. I mean, open field tackling, I think, is the toughest thing to do. He's a great open field tackler, really understands the schemes and gets guys lined up right. Offensively, again, just a finisher. I mean, he's one of those guys that always gets more than is blocked. When you see that down in the red zone there, where he's just got that nose for the end zone. He's a complete back too. That I think that I always tell our guys, hey, that if you're playing running back, you can run with the ball. It's easy to find guys who can do that. We need guys that are complete backs, guys that can pass block, guys that can catch the ball, and that just really defines Cole. Excellent pass protector, great job of running between the tackles, outside, can catch the ball out of the backfield, can catch the ball deployed as a receiver, and again brings all that extra value on the defensive side too. So he's just a flat-out football player for us.